Okay, I prepare 20 questions because I think that they will be very, very interesting to some athletes. And,
Okay.
because there are a lot of people that are starting to tell me like, hey, how you do that? Like what you do is impossible. And I have
Okay.
told you that I have a coach and but it's like the training is starting to getting more and more funny. Well, the first question that I have, coach, is okay, the progress of an advanced athlete. How do you see the progress of an athlete that is very, very advanced?
Well, for the advanced athletes, the
Yeah,
progress is not linear. It's not like this. If
yeah,
we
yeah.
compare advanced athlete with beginner, for the
Mm-hmm.
beginner, the progress is really fast and it's going high. But then at some point, when you reach, let's say, intermediate level, just, by calling levels such names, it's really hard because there are so many levels. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like intermediate guy can be, he can be able of doing 10 muscle ups, but also there is going to be another intermediate athlete who can do 15 muscle ups. So, it's so tricky. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and as soon as you reach a certain point, it's going to be a little bit harder, and you won't be progressing that much as you did when you just started.
Mm-hmm.
So for the advanced athletes, you can progress, then stagnate for a little bit, then regress, and it's normal. But how do I see it? Well, it depends on each individual. We cannot really compare, and I cannot I cannot even tell you an average, to be honest. Like we spoke with you so many times, in the coaching, that everybody is so different. It depends on how fast your recovery is, how how good genetics
Mm-hmm.
you have, and many many other factors. So if we speak about the progress, we gotta surprise the body. So
Mm-hmm.
we gotta take care of the stuff that we consider as weak links, weak points of our body. So we got to work on that. And as long as we do everything and we focus on each and every, you know, um, aspect of achieving certain goal, we should be good. But we should also remember, as I said, that the progress won't be that quick and that linear in the advanced athlete. I know I said a bunch of words which there I didn't really give you the direct answer because there is none.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is that you gotta surprise your body and give this new, fresh stimulation. If you always do 10 sets of 20 reps, you're not really progressively overloading your body. You're not really surprising, especially in calisthenics. When we speak about how differently we can create the program, we can
Mm-hmm.
really surprise the body in different ways. We can do just randomly say an EMOM, pyramid, breeze the grill. We can do drop sets. We can do weighted isometric holds and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot detents and timed routines. We can do the same thing differently. And that's how we crash this plateau that we can hit, this barrier that we sometimes cannot pass. So yeah, there is no one answer, but what I'm saying is that you gotta take care of everything and see broader than you used to in your training in order to succeed further. And try to seek for new methods, for new techniques and so on. Yeah.
Perfect, perfect, excellent. Well, the second coach is how much can an athlete keep progressing in an element? For example, there are guys like you that you can do like, let's say, barbarian in about 2 minutes and a half or something like that.
Yeah.
But or like, well, I don't know your exact time. What is your best time, coach, in barbarian routine?
Well, it's different because if we speak about like really short range of motion and just going for time just to keep the form at least acceptable. Let's say my range of motion was the bottom part of my pull-up was like this and the top was my chin barely touching the bar, so it's kind of like shit. let's
Yeah.
let's call it by name, but it's fun as well. Like yeah, like I always do both clean form I mean, full range of motion and shorter range of motion while maintaining the correct form still.
Mhm.
And yeah, my best time with short range of motion is like 2 minutes and 1 second, something like this.
2 minutes and one
And
second.
and I'm not really, honestly, I'm not really happy about it because it's just like the training part. It's at the competition it wouldn't count. But for me, it's still like, all right, I don't really think that many people can do it even with this form.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's sort of like 50-50. But with clean form, with
Yes.
acceptable as I used to be a barbarian. Well, we say once a barbarian, always a barbarian, but unfortunately, I'm not a part of the team at this moment. So I have all the rights to say what's acceptable, what's not, because I've been through it.
Mhm.
And yeah, with acceptable form, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, something like this. Yeah.
2 minutes with perfect clean form.
Not like, well, I mean,
Yeah,
well, perfect form is pretty subjective topic,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Full leg out, and chin over the bar. That's what they want.
Okay.
Okay. Clean
Mhm.
muscle ups without resting on top.
Okay.
Dips, no rest, 90-degree angle at least, and leg out, obviously. You heard this click. No warm up.
Yeah.
And push ups, chest to the floor or that distance from the floor and full leg out. And that's it. Yeah, 230, 240, maybe. Yeah, something like this. And trust me, it seems like 2 minutes with short range of motion and 230 with acceptable range of motion are sort of like really close, but 30 seconds make a lot of difference. And those who did barbarian requirements know this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. By the way, when I finish your times, I cannot move my arms. It like this.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It is. I have been a calisthenic athlete. Well, not in a complete because I stopped working out for 4 years, but I never feel this pain in my life.
When I did it for the first time,
Yeah.
I went to the store to get some water
Okay.
because I was so dried out after the
Okay.
completing, and I went to the store and I gave the cashier my money, and then I picked the bottle. It wasn't a supermarket; it was like a regular like deli store.
Yeah, yeah.
And I grabbed the water, and my arm just extended by its own, and the water just dropped. I couldn't flex my arm at all. At all. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was crazy.
And how much did that days take you to recover in that time? Like 2 or 3 days or more than that?
Well, at the time when I was preparing for the barbarian requirements,
Mm-hmm.
I used to train 3 days in a row,
Mm-hmm.
then 2 days of rest, and one really heavy workout. So it was basically Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, just moderate intensity, then
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday rest, complete rest, maybe football, basketball, some activation stuff.
Yeah.
And then on Saturday, I used to do like 6 hour workout. Well, not like 6 hours straight, but friends coming through, everybody trying to do the set, and we talking, communicating. So the real work would
Mm-hmm.
be like 3 hours, okay, with breaks. But sets that I did at the time required longer rest in between because if I did like 5 sets of barbarian requirements
Just
in a row, it's a little bit intense,
yeah,
especially back in 2012. Yeah, my level wasn't that good. Let's say that good as now. Yeah.
perfect. And let, for example, I don't want to compare you, Mr. Saibo, but I will do it because I look you as sorry as Usain Bolt. Let's say you are like Usain Bolt of calisthenics, and for example, yeah, yeah, yeah. And for example, Usain Bolt, his best time is like 9 seconds and 44, like something like that.
Yeah,
And
something like this. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, something.
Impossible, just impossible time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For example, do you think Usain Bolt could beat that time? Do you think he could run faster than that?
Oh, well, I'm that type of person that I don't like the ifs. Well, he
Mhm.
ended. the carrier. But if we speak hypothetically,
Yeah.
I think he could for sure.
Mm-hmm.
At least for, well, apart from the strength development and explosiveness and speed, the track and field typical training,
Mm-hmm.
if you take a look how he ran the last second or two,
Mm-hmm.
he ran with his wingspan like
Yeah.
this, looking to the sides. It really slowed him down. It slows down the aerodynamics. So I think he could really improve this. So let me go ahead a little bit because I know what you're trying to ask.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's possible to improve the crazy times, like for example, if I did the BBRs, barbarian requirements,
Yeah.
in
Yes.
2 minutes, is it possible to improve even more? And here we should look at the aspect of technique.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we speak about the technique, and as I said, the 2 minutes of mine weren't that clean. The set
Mm-hmm.
wasn't clean. So for me, it's more important not to improve the time,
Okay.
but to improve my form.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's possible to improve your time with better form, with more tricks. Some athletes know how to use their bodies properly, so sometimes we can glitch here and there, get this cheat a little bit, those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when feet movement, hips here and there, those little things. Yeah,
Okay.
we can achieve a better result with mastering the same thing over and over again. But like crazy time and numbers like this, I mean, the closer it is to impossible, the
Mm-hmm.
harder it is to improve. Like, yeah, let's be honest, there are limits. Now, I wouldn't say there are limits, but there is a broader pedestrian walk in the beginning, and
Mm-hmm.
then it goes narrower and it's harder to improve. If that makes sense, some kind of
Yeah.
creativity here.
Yes, for example, what you say in the beginning that if you want to compete in the pro level, it is important also to have a talent. I define talent as the ability someone to be good
Achieve
at
something fast or something. Sorry, I interrupted you, sir.
yeah. I mean like the ability of someone that has no training, but he does better than other people that has some training. For example, there are guys that they never train, but somehow they can do like 10 or 15 pull-ups. I don't know how, but
Yeah,
maybe genetic, yeah, yeah, yeah.
it
So
is what it is.
yeah, yeah, yeah. For example, and you know that, for example, there are people like Messi, like they work very hard, but also they will very talented, and some people like Cristiano that maybe not be very talented, but he works very hard. And for example, like I wanted to ask you, like this. I forget the question, but uh, I forget the question.
It's all good. It's all
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
It's okay.
But for example, I don't know how to ask you. What for example, will do SAIBOV if he wants to improve his barbarians? Do you also will be training like one rep max or no?
Well, one rep max, not necessarily, as these two things, high rep, high intensity stuff, time routines are completely different from one rep,
Yeah, yeah.
let's say one to five rep range stuff. It's completely different, but we can take the strength training into the consideration in order to improve your ballistic
Mm-hmm.
strength, to be able to pull faster,
Mm-hmm.
okay, to engage. Our body, our muscle it consists of motor units, and well, it's like muscle. Yeah, muscle is your unit,
Yeah.
okay? And how fast you activate the motor units and how many units you activate
Mm-hmm.
are totally dependent on how strong you are. Well, basically, it's like, yeah, it's the logic of training in different words. So basically, when I coach someone, for example, your goal is to improve barbarian requirements.
Yes.
Obviously, we're not going to do barbarian requirements every single day.
Mm-hmm.
We can take a look at your limiting factors. For example, you're bad, well, not bad, you're worse in muscle ups than
Yes.
in push ups, for example. So that means that we need to work on those muscle ups specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And the muscle up is a compound movement, which consists of pull and dip.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just taking muscle up as example.
Yeah, yeah.
Then, in order to improve the explosiveness, because the muscle up is the dynamic movement, we need to be explosive. In
Mm-hmm.
order to improve this, we need to work on this weighted stuff. Not necessarily one rep max, no need to put a heavy weight on your belt. It's
Mm-hmm.
enough to just work with something extra in order to put more stimulation to your body, and this explosiveness, sorry, can be worked.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then the dip the
Mm-hmm.
same way, because as I said, it's a compound movement, pull dip. So we work towards the dip and pull.
Mm-hmm.
Then, for example, we see uh, that our grip on pull-ups can be, you know, our grip just cannot stand so many pull-ups.
Yeah.
So that means that we cannot hang longer.
Okay.
That means that we need to complete pull-ups faster, right?
Okay.
Because some people have stronger grip, some people have less strong grip. So it's like,
Yes.
someone is a puller and
Mm.
someone is a pusher.
Yeah.
I'm a pusher. I'm a natural pusher. I'm better in push-ups than in pull-ups. You
Okay.
as well, as I know, you're better in push-ups and in pull-ups. As for now, we'll see later. Yeah, it's all a matter of time. And yeah, what I was saying, and yeah, and then you should work on explosiveness in those pull-ups to perform faster, because you know your limiting factors, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So yeah, it goes like this. In order to prepare for something, we should take a look at this.
Yeah.
And we should not neglect the strength training, because endurance is fine,
Mm-hmm.
high volume, high intensity is fine, but slow reps matters. Slow
Mm-hmm.
rep matters.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. Because then you can work on your technique better. You can focus on your breathing. You can actually give this extra work to your body. Like I said in the beginning, you gotta surprise your body.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So one day that stop with isometric holds, tempo reps, and the other day fast ballistic explosive movements, and these are just two aspects. We
Mm-hmm.
can also name, the body alignment issue. Some people struggle to maintain the body rigid enough, stiff enough in specific exercises,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where the form also suffers. As you get more fatigued, you tend to lose, not you specifically, but athletes tend to lose the form, for example. And then we need to make sure in the training that we work towards this specific thing,
Yes.
right? It's not only, what I'm saying is that it's not only about the reps, just reps.
Yes.
It's your form, your breathing, your work on your weak links, and actually the specific, work on the goal that you're trying to achieve. So you would have to, devote one training for specific BBR training,
Mm-hmm.
timed routines, another training to improve the form of each exercise, as BBRs are, it is a test, physical test. So it means that there are certain standards to match, right? Then you work on your weak links, then you work on, strength aspect, as I said, and then you have another endurance day. Okay, so that's just an example of 5 training days. So you have 2 specific days to prepare for your goal, and
Mm-hmm.
3 accessory ones that can lead you to the goal, as well as those specific days which target the goal itself. Yeah.
For example, in the strength training, we can train with the 80% of one of our rec max. If
Mhm.
yeah, some like I see
Yeah, something like
to
this.
yeah, yeah, because in the if you want to achieve something, sometimes like all the things it can be very boring, to be honest. Well, to me, it's not
Hmm.
boring, but you know, like this with 30 kilos, and we want to do more to do more with more weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. For example, you for barbarians, do you train this with higher than, I don't know your rep max in this, but do you train with 60 kilos in dips, something like that?
Well, at the time when I was preparing for BBRs,
Mhm.
I didn't have an access to the gym. So I had to go to the park even when it was minus 10 Celsius
Yeah.
in Ukraine. Yeah, it's kind of cold.
Mhm.
And yeah, the heaviest weight I could get from my friend, it was like 32 kilograms.
Okay.
But then when I passed, it wasn't my max. I mean, the max what I could borrow to
Mhm.
work out, 32. I was working out with 32 kg.
Okay.
And yeah, then when I already completed the BBR, then in order to improve the time, I started doing weighted stuff like straight lifting training. And then I've noticed that my body moves faster.
Mhm.
And I'm also quite, like you said, talented. Well, I'm gifted with speed.
Yeah.
I'm a good sprinter. I used to run, I'm not sure about now. I
Okay.
used to run 100 meters in 10 seconds, 9 milliseconds, 10.9. That's quite fast.
Yes.
And yeah, I have always been like that in football, and I used to be fast, and I still am, but in calisthenics now. And you can see it by how fast I usually perform my sets,
Yes.
especially on the bar. And it's not only because I'm fast, it's also because I don't have a strong grip. I mean, the endurance. I
Okay.
mean, if we speak, sorry, my phone keeps vibrating. You know, turn it off. And if we speak, what I was saying, sorry.
Yeah, that you strong, you have like not a very strong grip.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, if of course, if we compare my grip to the grip of beginner, of course, it's a strong grip.
Yes.
But I cannot really hang on the bar that long. I have never been able to do it. I have been training with those dead hang routines for so many years
Mhm.
and with weights. I mean, I cannot say I've tried all the methods, but I've tried some,
Okay.
and I could only improve my grip to a certain degree. And for example, you don't see me doing 50 pull-ups and I stop at 30 and then I go by one. Some people can do it. I can't.
Okay.
I will do it. I can spend on the bar 2 minutes and 30 seconds, approximately like this. That's like the maximum when I max out. So
Okay.
for me, it matters how fast I perform my reps, how many reps I can do nonstop.
Okay.
Okay. So my weak point is actually the hanging part.
Okay.
I have a strong grip, of course. I can, muscle up with 40 kilograms on my wrist,
Okay.
but that's strength. Endurance
Yeah.
is not that good. So, yeah, in order to improve my BBRs, I started to implement some more weighted training into my regimen, and I have noticed a lot of differences since then.
Okay. And which is your favorite exercise?
This is a tricky question because it may look that I am in love with muscle up, and this is true. I
Okay.
mean, I'm a walking muscle up. It's just you can wake me up at 3 a.m. and tell me do 10 muscle ups, I will do with a
Okay.
smile on my face.
Okay.
But I love push up
Push up.
because you can do push up everywhere. This is the reason why push up always wins.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, if you give me the question like this, that Sabah, you have the pull-up bar, or I mean, you can do muscle ups or push-ups until the end of your days, but you will have the bar,
Mhm.
then I will choose muscle ups, of
Okay.
course.
Okay.
Even though, from the perspective of the human body, I should choose push ups because I won't be able to do muscle up that much
Mhm.
when I'm, 40, 50, 60, when my joints are going to be screaming.
Mhm.
Yeah, and yeah, it's hard. It's hard. But muscle ups and push-ups. If I had the bar until the end of my days, I would choose muscle ups though.
Perfect, perfect. And one of the, a few days ago, I was watching Max Drew. Max Drew, you know, Max
Okay.
Drew, he like the biggest in the muscle ups. He had
Yeah, he's a top athlete,
the
one
world
of the best.
of muscle ups, and I think that he did in Barbarian routine the first time 4 minutes and 80, sorry, 4 minutes and 80, 4 minutes and 80 seconds. And then he started training, but his weak link, as you mentioned, it was in push-ups. He trained for 30 days and he went to 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
You
Yeah,
see?
yeah. He applied what you say, but for example, me that I have been training like with you, I am comparing now with Maestro. So Maestro like training like for 5 or 10 years. And I guess that the question is, and it surprised me that does doing more muscle ups help you with kind of like push-ups, something like that? It is like
Not really.
not really.
It's more like it would be the other way around.
Okay, okay. More
Push-ups
push-ups.
and more push-ups and more pull-ups will get you more muscle-ups. But
Okay.
muscle-ups, well, I cannot say like there is no relation at all because it's still the muscle work, so we still get something out of the muscle up for push-ups.
Mhm.
But like if it's directly connected, no.
No, no. Yeah, complete. For example, there are like high, like very top athletes in rock climbing, but in push-up they suck. They cannot do much.
Well, because their specificity is like, climbing, they don't really do push-ups. I used
Mhm.
to have a student, and she's actually now a record holder
Okay.
in Guinness record holder with the most pull-ups within 24 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, and she used to be a climber, and when we started working, she couldn't really give me ten push-ups, but she was able to do like 15 pull-ups and a muscle up.
Really?
Yeah, and
Wow.
that's how different it is
Not
for
even
the
10,
specific sport that you do.
not even 10 push-ups?
Well, maybe I'm exaggerating, but like the difference was really huge, like unusual.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Okay, okay. And the last five questions. For example, there we see like in the World Guinness record, like in the most hour, the people do the push-up with flaring their elbows, like something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I read that that is bad for the shoulders or for the arms, right? That form in the long run.
Yeah, in a certain degree, yeah, it's definitely more dangerous than the normal form that we are used to in calisthenics. But yeah, man, what am I gonna say? Whatever it takes to get the record. I mean, they allowed it. So yeah, what we can do? I mean, we can speak, but this guy is still a record holder. So we can have an opinion. Everybody has one. Of course, for me, if he came to my workout, we would do push-ups a little bit different. But then again, he's a record holder. It's funny, but it is the truth.
Yes, yes. For example, me that I am reaching closer to the World Guinness record. For example, let's say that in the day that I will try, do you recommend me to try it like that form or with
Oh, well, I wouldn't. No, no, no. Whenever, like, yeah, this answer is gonna cover both competition and record preparations.
okay, okay.
I get this question a lot. People ask me if they should do something special on the day of the competition or on the day when they try to beat their record or world record.
Okay.
No, because we have a routine,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And every single deviation from the routine. For example, you went to the party, just for example, you went to the party for one day and the next day you're suffering. So you're out of this regimen. And
Okay.
of course, doing something like you never ate bananas before training, but then before the competition, you ate bananas. You never know how your body reacts to this kind of food. Of course, bananas is just a simple
Yeah.
example. Don't take it so directly.
Yes.
Uh, if we do something different before the training, regardless if it's a competition or not, our body can react differently. So we can be surprised. It can be a good way. It can
Mhm.
be a bad way, and it can be like nothing has changed. So sometimes we overthink a lot, and we think, oh, maybe I should change my form. You know, the day before the actual event, we maybe I should change my form. Maybe I should drink more water. Maybe I should sleep more. Maybe I should breathe faster. But it's not. It's not. It's just. It's like the training day with
Yeah.
more stress, of course. With more,
Yeah.
it's exciting, but it's just another training day. You have done so many of those. There's nothing new, nothing different, just an official training. That's it.
Okay, okay. And you think that what by well the question is by that form do you do push up faster since the range of motion is lower?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because if you take a look at this specific record, like in
Like,
under 1 hour, right?
like this.
He plays his arms that wide. Sorry,
Yeah.
that wide, and then he doesn't really only move his arms, but also his scapula like this, and he moves his shoulder here and there
Yeah.
while not flexing his arms under the specific degree, which can exhaust him faster. Does it make sense to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so he basically plays the hands wider
Yes.
so he can move his body body like this,
Okay.
and with the minimum bend of the arms, he already can reach the 90-degree level. And that's what it's all about in this record, I guess, right? So I believe the rules say that you should extend and then come down to 90-degree level. And how wide you go, they don't care.
Yeah.
If even take a look at the pull-up record, the guy who broke it,
Yeah.
absolutely respect to everybody who broke the record and holds it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, just an honorable mention for those guys. So yeah, this guy he took this wide grip in order to shorten the range of motion, so he can pull faster. Because if we take this grip, it's gonna take us longer to perform one single rep
Yes.
instead of like this. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
it
for
is easier.
example, I was watching the guy that broke the World Guinness record of 1 hour training. I really investigate him a lot, but his training he do the push like normal, and maybe I think that yeah, maybe he just do that in the World Guinness because maybe he could injure himself, like
Maybe.
training like for this for like a year. Maybe it's dangerous. Well,
Mhm.
the last three questions. What do you think about the sleeping? Do you think sleeping like 10 hours a day will help you, or not?
10
Yeah, 10 hours.
10 hours a day is quite a lot. I mean, well, there are a lot of talks about sleep, and of course, research says that 8 hours is like the best in
Yeah,
average.
yeah.
But then again, there are people who can sleep 7 hours and feel as well as good as if they sleep eight. Some
Mhm.
people get sluggish if they sleep longer than 7 or 8 hours. So if I, for example, if I sleep for 10 hours, I wake up with my head like this
Mhm.
and I'm slow, but if I sleep shorter, for example, 7, 8 hours, I feel great. But
Okay.
then again, if I sleep 5, 6, I feel, a little bit empty, not enough energy. So basically, sleep is like the most important part of our life. That's when our body recovers from everything, not only from training, but also from stress
Okay.
and from daily activities.
Okay.
So yeah, sleeping, I would say 8 hours. I would stick to the research. 10 hours is good, of course, if you need it. You
Mhm.
know, if you did a really heavy weight session or a really long endurance workout and you feel that your body is like broken in pieces, into pieces, then of course you need some good sleep and some good food, some pizza or something. I don't know.
Perfect. And the last three questions, coach. What is what keeps you motivate in this sport? What do
Oh,
you achieve in calisthenics?
people.
People.
People, yeah. People. I'm surrounded by people. I love to be surrounded by great people who try to do something,
Mhm.
just do something with their body, to do something for others, to simply improve.
Mhm.
The willing to improve of others give me this energy to actually move my ass.
Mhm. Okay.
So yeah, and the progress of my students is always the best motivation for me. It's like sometimes when I see the progress of my client, it's like I'm looking into the mirror and I see myself from 10 years ago. Well, it depends on what level my student is achieving, but yeah,
Mhm.
it's just seeing how someone's history is being made, you
Yeah.
know, and being a part of this and being able to actually share what I've been through, what I learned through all this journey is
Mhm.
just a blessing. It's absolutely inspiring to me that something like this can unite people and bring people together, and this energy, positive energy exchange is everything. So this is what motivates me. Of course, I like records. I like, you know, crazy sets, not sex. People might have misheard it. No, I love jokes, so for the good mood. Yeah, I like achieving some crazy things, but I think the whole mission, you know, the whole mission is more motivating than those numbers, those titles,
Mhm.
and so on. Even though I try to get more championships, more titles, and it's just the human nature, right? To get better and to be someone. It's nice, but at the same time, we should look at it in a healthy way. Like I said, we're people, we try to help each other and teach and learn. Every great teacher is a great student, and vice versa. You can take a great advice from your student as well.
That's okay. I remember the question that I wanted to ask you about the talent.
Oh,
Yeah. For example, do you like the UFC, MMA, or you don't watch UFC or MMA?
not really. I know a couple of names, you know, Habib and Connor. Everybody knows them, I think. But I'm not really into fights. But what do you mean? Maybe, you know, I know something about this, but I'm not really into it. So you can ask if
Yeah, for
so.
example, there was a guy. He is the featherweight championship. His
Hmm.
name is Alexander Volkanovski. Alexander Volkanovski was a rugby
Okay.
player before. He was very big for his division. Then he went to MMA. He didn't have like an striking background, but he is defeating like people like Max Holloway, people that have been training for 15 or 20 years. He was very athletic, but he never trained striking, and his striking is the best. And
Mm.
that's what I wanted to ask you about the talent. There is like people like, well, there can be one in a million or one in 10 million, but he may be a rare exception of this rule.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I would say that talent really matters because, you know, your body determines what athlete you can be. When you are a teenager, you can already see if you can be good at basketball, if you're tall, if you
yeah.
have long limbs, or if you're, you know, a smaller guy who has shorter limbs, so you can be good at powerlifting, for example, or in calisthenics,
Okay.
right? And yeah, if you see that you're fast, then why not try the track and field? if you see that you like fighting and it goes well,
Mhm.
in the neighborhood,
Yeah,
then why not try in MMA or karate or any other martial arts?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing because, as I said, I'm gifted to be fast,
Mhm.
uh, as well as I believe that I'm gifted to learn foreign languages quite fast, for
Wow.
example. Yeah, that's definitely something.
Mhm.
But other people can be, talented in playing tennis
Yeah.
like 2,000 times better than me, or singing 10 times better than me, and so on, and it's so specific. And this is actually something which is really amazing that that certain individuals are just good at something, and they can be good at something without even putting in some real work into it, like you said, there are some people who never trained in their life, and they can grab the bar and give you 15 reps just like that. And it happened to me. I started with another friend of mine back in the day, and I couldn't do a single rep.
Okay.
And I was struggling so much to get the first rep. And my friend did like two or three trainings, and then he went like, whoo,
Okay.
5, 6 reps like this. And I was like, I cannot get it,
Mhm.
But then again, when we started doing muscle ups,
Mhm.
I've learned it faster and I could do more in a shorter time than him. And then, and then in the next step, when we started learning handstand push ups, he was better than me as well.
Okay.
But then, yeah, and you see, it's different for everybody. It depends a lot on what your genetics are, your anthropometrics, right? How you built
Mhm.
normally, naturally, and yeah, it's even dependent on what sports or what daily activities you perform as a child, like as an infant.
Okay.
It's even important like this to that point.
That was the
Yeah.
question. This is the last question that I wanted to ask you. For example, you started training in calisthenics like at 14 or 15 years old, right?
Yeah, 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 approximately like this.
You think that if you started early, like let's say like at 4 years old or 5 years old, gymnastics, they start at
Hmm.
very young time. Do you think that if you started at 4 or 5 years old, will your performance be even better?
I believe so. I would have spent more time on the bar by now.
Okay.
That would be not 14 years, but twice more, I think.
Okay.
Well, almost 20 and above years, depending on when I start.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely be stronger. I mean, we never know, but I assume that's how it goes for everybody. The longer you train something, the better you become.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I never wish I started earlier or something. Some things just happen for a reason, and you gotta stick to it, and you cannot do anything about it. But yeah, there is always some if.
Mhm.
Like, if I started earlier, if I did this, if I did that. But then again, it's more important about what we do now and what we're gonna do, you know,
Yes.
ahead of time in the future. So yeah, we gotta focus on the time we got left than the amount of time that we have already spent. So
Yes. That is
but
that is
yeah, I get what you're saying. I wish, honestly, I wish I started earlier. I would have become a champion earlier. I would have become champion more times. I would have done all those things sooner and earlier. But then again, I don't know how my life would have been
yes.
if I achieved something, success and all this earlier. You
Mhm.
know, I could have get broken mentally if I, don't have the teenage years spent with my friends. And if I, for example, if I was a gymnast,
Okay.
they're pretty strict.
Yes.
For example, my friend Stipke, Jayan, I'm Stipke.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he used to be a gymnast, and he told me a couple of times the story that he didn't have life as a gymnast. It's
Okay.
training, 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 training. He didn't have friends. He didn't. I mean, he had friends, but within the group of gymnastics.
Yes, yes.
And this is just. I mean, I don't want to mess up the whole story, but the point is that they are quite strict, and they limit the youngsters of, you know, socializing and growing up, and you spend most of your time in the gym as a youngster, and this is not always healthy.
Mhm.
So I'm glad it came out this way. I used to be a football player. It was cool. It was cool. It was enough for me. I really enjoyed it.
Mhm. Perfect, perfect. Well, coach, that's it. And that, let's keep progressing. Let's keep getting the record even better. And hopefully in 1 or 2 months we can do another podcast with even more questions.
Of
We,
course.
I'm going to let your Instagram here. The best way to contact you is your Instagram, right?
Not really. I mean, it's my website or Instagram, and you should not text me in direct messages, but click on the contact button, and there you will have the WhatsApp number of mine and the email of mine. So yeah, that's it.
Is the website that you sent me before, right?
Yeah,
The
RuslanSaibov.com. That's it.
Perfect, coach. Well, thank you a lot for your time.